Okay, so this is the second time I've had to do this. First time I had to do it was because for some reason the format was fragmented, and I didn't really say much, but I just really wanted it to be out for the morning of Wednesday. But it's okay. It's okay. You guys, it doesn't even matter. You guys, gonna watch it regardless. But I had asked for this link. You guys offered it to just sent it to me on Discord. I apologize for it taking this long for me to react to it. I have been dealing with things regarding a new space. But yeah, we're gonna get into it. This is Linkara and looking at the Darkwing Duck comics, issues 1 through 4. Now, as I stated in the video that I had to get rid of, I'm gonna have to find these comics because these comics are really good. If those For those of you who did not see like the video that I had to get rid of because of Olive Harper's bullcrap, I love Darkwing Duck. This is the bag that has like an official Darkwing Duck plush in there, and I've always wanted one. I always wanted it, and now I want these comics. So please, if you can, leave a like if you're gonna enjoy this video, and please support Linkara because he doesn't have to do this at all. He made this 4 years ago. Mm. I'm late, but it's okay. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Patreon sponsored review time again. Disney does not own my childhood. Yeah, unlike many of my peers in this age bracket, I have no strong attachments to Disney. I watched most of the animated films from the Disney Renaissance as a kid, and obviously Disney's continual acquisition of every single property and other studio on Earth means that I have enjoyed things that they produce. Plus, my old video platform Blip was bought by Maker Studios, which in turn was bought by Disney, meaning there was a brief time where I was technically paid by Disney. Mickey Mouse was on the checks and everything. But Disney was just not my thing as a child. Part of it was, embarrassingly enough, my immature perception that it was kiddie fare and I was not interested in stuff made for kids. Said
I mean, what's crazy is that he goes on to say it doesn't really make sense because he was into Power Rangers, but like this percent of like media that is made for children, whereas like people who are older can't enjoy it. The narrative has to stop, and I know it's not. He's not doing. I'm not blaming Linkara. I'm not blaming Linkara. I'm just blaming it as a whole for like the perception that people have to like think that stuff like collecting, collectible plushies or collectible action figures of these things, or and just watching these things and not really getting into the whole adult drama stuff that they push out every goddamn month. I There's no need for, to what's the word I'm looking for? Look down on somebody who is enjoying cartoons and animation and just stuff that you would think that only kids would enjoy because it wasn't just made for kids. It was made for people to enjoy as a whole. So I feel as though I'm gonna keep saying because I'm a broken record because like I want to just push this this truth that it doesn't matter how old you get. You can enjoy these things regardless.
the man who thinks way, way too hard about Power Rangers. Point is, my brand of nostalgia is associated with Fox Kids, Nickelodeon, Kids WB, and stuff meant for an older demographic than me, like Star Trek. As such, despite the fact that I watched parts of the Disney afternoon, I recall following Tailspin, Rescue Rangers, and DuckTales, it never really stuck with me. Yeah, I am that rare person of my generation who does not have the DuckTales theme song permanently etched into their brain. They were just shows that I watched when nothing else was on. Hell, despite the fact that Tailspin and Rescue Rangers used established Disney characters, as a child, I don't think I ever realized, oh hey, this is Disney. This is subsequently why I've never brought up Carl Barks or Don Rosa's legendary works before. I've never read them. It's nothing against them or the incredible comics they've made, it's just superheroes tend to be my jam and not other genres. Which brings us to Darkwing Duck. While the other Disney properties were just something I shrugged at, I do recall being a huge fan of Darkwing Duck as a kid. Unfortunately, like so much else I watched as a kid, while I was a huge fan of it, I tended to forget about it when I moved on to other franchises over the years, and not every concept gets a big nostalgia revival or reboot. I mean, where the hell's my new Mighty Max series where it doesn't end in a damn time loop?
No, seriously. Where is my new Darkwing Duck series? Hell, y'all could literally take these comics y'all made Parent 2015 and make season 3 of Darkwing Duck, The Return of Darkwing. Y'all could literally do that. And I would love the living hell out of it. Like Disney, like listen, you gotta understand this whole woke stuff that y'all keep pushing is not what we want. We want stuff like this. We want Darkwing Duck. Especially me. I would love a new Darkwing Duck series. Or a new season, the continuation of seasons 1 and 2. Like give us season 3 where Darkwing Duck comes back, bro.
In case you're unfamiliar with the series, Darkwing Duck was a superhero action adventure cartoon depicting the egotistical but still moral character of Darkwing Duck. His civilian identity, Drake Mallard, is a single
Right?
father to his adopted daughter Gosselin. He's joined by former DuckTales pilot Launchpad McQuack, who helps fly his signature vehicle, the Thunderquack. While mostly acting as a spoof of superheroes and pulp heroes as he protects the city of St. Canard, the series was fun and funny along with its wonderful catchphrase, "Let's get dangerous." Unfortunately, due to a misinterpretation of said catchphrase, many children began running with scissors and sticking forks in light sockets. In
I
2010,
still
Boom
don't
Studios
understand that.
launched a 4-part Darkwing Duck miniseries. Why, I can't say, since I don't know if there was that much demand for it, but there certainly was some demand when it actually hit, because the Boom Studios comics were actually pretty damn good. I read them at the time and really liked them. They were fun and funny and had an ongoing storyline. Hell, they even cross over with a DuckTales comic that was also being produced by Boom. After 18 issues, the book was cancelled and Disney removed the license. A few years later, the book was relaunched by another company, Joe Books, and here's where things get weird. Yes, there is controversy surrounding this run. When I heard that was the case, I figured it was a legal kerfuffle, like Disney didn't approve of something, or Boom never actually had the rights, or they were holding it hostage so it wouldn't be given to Marvel. But no, it's about credit and who actually wrote the series. See, I don't know who actually did write the book, because there are two conflicting accounts. One argues that it was editor Aaron Sparrow, who officially left the book after 3 issues, but continued to assist artist James Silvani with writing it. The other account is that credited writer Ian Brill worked off of notes left by Aaron Sparrow, but it was all him writing it, with lots of back and forth about it with different friends and colleagues corroborating their side or the other. The whole thing was compounded when, in 2015, an omnibus edition was released that collected up to issue 16, plus an annual issue, but apparently heavily rewritten and redrawn by Sparrow and Silvani to better match the tone and characterizations of the original show. The patron did actually request that I look at the omnibus edition version of the book, but the omnibus edition is out of print and commands ridiculous prices on Amazon, with the lowest at the time of this recording at $600 and the highest over $1,000. So,
Jesus
yeah, I'm
Christ.
very sorry, we're going with the originals.
Yeah,
Personally, I
yeah.
don't really get it. If you
Jesus.
didn't like the original versions, why go to all the trouble of trying to reprint it at all? I mean, they ended up making another brief ongoing series anyway. Why bother when you can just tell the story you wanted to tell in the first place? It's one thing when the trades fix massive plot holes with a simple line of dialogue or finish the artwork that was incomplete when printed, like what happened with Infinite Crisis, but it feels different to make extensive changes that alter character motivations and how the events events unfolded. But at this point, we should probably just get going by digging into Darkwing Duck number 1 to 4, The Duck Knight Returns. Reading from a trade, and we've got 4 issues to look at, so skipping the covers. We
love
open
that
with
song.
Launchpad and Drake at
I will
a
never get
Stardust
tired of that
coffee.
song.
Launchpad gives his order. How about a mocha chocolate yaya, extra dark? And the power goes out. Whoa, not that dark. I was thinking more trauma issues explored in a kids show dark, not can't afford a lighting budget dark. Drake notes that this is no ordinary blackout. It's affecting every Starducks in town, which is every other place in the city. How can St. Canard be the city that never sleeps soundly now? I mean, you could just brew your own coffee at home. Probably cheaper, too. Also, I guess he's not wrong about that, since they're getting coffee in the middle of the night along with every other person in the city. GGW, think it's time to break out your other identity and save the day? Secret identity, Launchpad, secret! Blackouts don't affect people's hearing! Let's not get too hasty, dude. I can't actually hear anything you're saying and have to read it. And thus we have a glorious 2-page spread where Darkwing Duck is facing down the perpetrator of the crime, Megavolt. So, Megavolt, you thought your plan to hold Starducks for ransom would succeed. So his plan was to only hold the coffee places hostage? Because with the power out in the rest of the city, it feels like he might have overdid it a bit, or setting his sights a bit low. No, wait, we can see his actual plan because the moon is friggin' huge! He's trying to draw it in closer and destroy the planet! You thought you finally found the one thing that keeps St. Canard awake and alive. In reality, it's drugs. But you didn't count on one person whose determination and alertness would still be at maximum power even after running the Mouston Marathon. The one person who will be dying of a heart attack soon. Oh God, let me sleep! Because I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the awkward goodbye that lasts for far too long. I am Darkwing Duck. Not a great comparison, DW, since it implies that you will indeed end. It seems that this fight is actually news footage being utilized a year later. Not sure how they got this footage, but it commemorates the last known time anyone saw Darkwing Duck. No one knows why he's gone, but no one really seems to mind, since in that intermediate time, the Quackworks Corporation has started utilizing special robots to help fight crime. So in this universe, Ed 209 was a huge success. Drake now works at Quackworks, and all the drudgery and misery that follows it, including crowds of people, and needing to take the stairs when an elevator breaks down, in a building with 300 floors. He's not worried about it because back when he was Darkwing Duck, he had to do more punishing activities than walking that often. And I know it's supposed to be jokey because he's so exhausted by the 142nd floor, but I sure as hell couldn't handle half that much, and he doesn't even wear shoes, so kudos, dude. He arrives to a massive assembly late as a guy talks about new upgrades coming to the crime bots. But he objects given how crime is already so low and how even the police and former criminals are working at Quackworks, so what's even the point? However, before he can continue, he's called away because his daughter is in trouble at school. Or rather, she's going to be in trouble since she's tied up the principal at the expensive private school she goes to, convinced that the teachers are really working for supervillains. I see she ended up at the same school as the Tandy Computer Whiz kids. He talks her down and says not to create any more problems, especially since it could lead back to people finding out who he was. Then again, it's not like his villains are really that observant, since it turns out his cubicle mate is the former
Which
Megavolt,
is crazy
ranting
as
about
hell.
how he used to go 10 rounds with Darkwing Duck, but now has to file reports on Quackworks' furniture, nail clipper, and lima bean earnings. Quackworks, we're basically the only company for everything. He does almost pick up on him, though. Have you ever had the desire to go gallivanting through the night, ruining other people's fun? No. Did you ever think that a ridiculous purple getup would strike fear into St. Canard's handsomest and smartest criminals?
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mundus.
Has it ever crossed your mind that gas guns and grappling hooks were the best way to enforce a trumped-up and phony idea of justice? I mean, he's not technically wrong. But yeah, the denial works and he goes back to playing Minesweeper or whatever. After Drake has some flashbacks to adventures he had, including fighting ice monsters while his arm has been transformed into a snake and combating giant carrots and rabbits, you know, common superhero stuff. He heads home for the day, absolutely miserable. One of his co-workers asks about the news report concerning Darkwing Duck. What was his name? It was probably Darkwing Duck. Oh yeah, it was Duckman, wasn't it? Good old Duckman. Ugh, no, you idiot. Duckman was a private detective, not a superhero.
Right.
Megavolt heads
Get it
out on his
right.
way home, having missed the bus, but a van stops by near him and a large vine reaches out, yanking him inside. At home, Drake contemplates talking to Launchpad about getting back in the game, but he just is silent when he tries to call him and hangs up. Afterwards, their house is attacked by the crime bots, who are after Gosselin's friend Honker Muddlefoot, who had been hanging out there. They've come to arrest him for downloading music illegally, or illegally possessing the song Your Love is Like Melting Butter by Quackworks record artist Hannah Alaska. You shall serve an indefinite period of time in the Quackworks detention camp. And you don't want to know what they do to people who illegally upload TV shows to YouTube. Drake tries to intervene, but is zapped away. Gosselin suggests having Darkwing Duck take care of this, and issue 1 ends with Megavolt's kidnappers revealed. Some other supervillains of the town, namely Liquidator, Bushroot, and Quackerjack. Issue 2 picks up right from there, as Megavolt notes that the place they're in is Quackworks' toy warehouse. Quackerjack explains that he got placed in the toy department when he worked there, but as a lowly worker. As such, he's invented a new toy line, the St. Canard Legends Quackerjack action figure. Ugh, worst part is that you're only going to be able to find them at Walgreens, and you need all of them for the Build-A-Figure launch pad. Megavolt asks who would buy a toy with him on it. Oh, these toys aren't meant to be played with. They blow up buildings. Quackerjack, this is not the way to get vengeance for what happened to Toys R Us. And so they blow up the toy warehouse and walk off. Though considering how close they appear to be to the explosion, you'd think it would have scorched them at least a little. Elsewhere, I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the classic rock act that never retires. I am the McRib, occasionally brought out while everyone wonders why I'm not a permanent menu item. Drake is back as Darkwing Duck, and he sneaks into the Quackworks office, trying to figure out who actually started the company. Don't know why he needed to break into the office to do that. Couldn't you just Google it? Or considering how they tend to replace words for parody purposes, Goofle it?
Oh,
It's Goofy's search engine. What, don't think they just reference another Disney character? He tries to type in Founder in the employee database, and it just ends up with Flounder from Little...
you know, the thing that I like most about Darkwing Duck is that they actually do. They do not skip nothing. They reference all the Disney characters as much as they possibly can. I enjoy that a lot. This is what I need from Disney. Disney needs to realize what it has and stops trying to make live actions and just let it be and use it for what it is.
Little Mermaid. No, I said Founder! He is the founder, DW. After King Triton retired, Flounder went off and started his own company. No, the actual answer in the database is Stranger, saying that there was no official founder, just that Quackworks was a creation of the like-minded citizens of St. Canard, who, through hard work and a sense of community, have built this towering tribute to their town. So the creator was the Borg Collective? Darkwing thinks that actually kind of makes sense, given how the company just seemed to pop up out of nowhere and everyone began leaving their jobs en masse, even at organizations like Fowl and Shush. That, of course, makes absolutely no real sense, but his train of thought is interrupted by a guy mistaking Darkwing for someone else. It's Maury Thwackenstein's retirement party, and he requested the best lounge singer from Quackworks School of Crooning.
What the hell?
Harvey? That school is for hacks, and I never trust anybody with a degree from it. They spend months on Tony Bennett, but 1 week on Sinatra. Fair enough. Quackerjack takes the villains to a toy store he operates and complains how Quackworks kept him down, wanted safe toys, but now he's gonna get his revenge, promising that the others will get their revenge in their own respective departments once they help get his. Crimebots show up to try to stop the group, but when they identify the Fearsome Five and list their leader as Negaduck, Quackerjack snaps, destroying the Crimebots, and demands that nobody ever mention Negaduck. He also shows off the new version of the toy he carries with him, Mr. Banana
That
Brain.
looks horrifying
who
when I
has
look
clearly
back
more
at
of
it
a
again.
mecha banana brain, given he's made from wires and mechanical components, and I'm pretty sure his fingers are bullets. Hello, folks! I'm full of hate and wires! And presumably, given the glowing eyes, AA batteries. Gosselin hears a news report about the villains destroying the toy store and decides to head out to Launchpad's airfield to try to find him. However, it's in the middle of the night, so she decides to take a nap in a plane's cockpit, only to accidentally switch the plane on, flying her into the sky as she tries to get it under control.
Oh,
I
Gosling.
could complain about Gosselin pulling an Anakin Skywalker here, but honestly, I'm kind of curious at what point during the design meeting did someone suggest, hey, maybe we should have a single lever turn the plane on and start it flying? While Launchpad helps her down, Darkwing meets the retiring security guard, who actually recognizes him and explains that he was one of the original designers of the Crimebots. And all he knows is that there was a strange compulsion from him and the other designers to come to the company and build them. He asks Darkwing to investigate, even giving him security codes to access their programming. He does indeed head out and investigate, dealing with both guard dogs and guard flamingos, while Honker, imprisoned in a Quackworks jail, is strapped to a chair for interrogation. Darkwing arrives at the manufacturing plant where Crimebots are being built and outfitted with various accessories. Security Crimebots try to apprehend him, but issue 2 ends with him being rescued by Launchpad and Gosselin by crashing through the roof. The worst part is that hole is getting taken out of Drake's paycheck. Issue 3 begins with our heroes escaping in the Thunderquack, which means that I can legitimately say Thunderbirds are go in relation to the situation.
Yep.
However, the reunion is not so happy for Darkwing and Launchpad, with apparently one inciting incident that caused their breakup a year ago. Darkwing explains that what finally got him to hang up his cape is when Negaduck showed up at their house, armed for war, having discovered Darkwing's secret identity after spotting Launchpad leaving a dry cleaners with both the Darkwing duck costume and Drake's civilian garb of a pink shirt and green sweater. Which means that this comic is really just a PSA for cartoon characters to wear more than one set of clothes. Before he can do any serious harm to Drake, the Crimebots show up and take Negaduck away. Launchpad, though, was unaware that was the incident that upset him so much. Rather, he figures it was when Gizmo Duck was awarded Best Liked at the 4th annual St. Canard Superhero Pageant. Darkwing explains that he became disillusioned to doing the hero stuff after seeing his greatest enemy crash into his kitchen and only being saved by the Crimebots. After he stopped doing the superhero gig, he lost his stipend with Shush and took a job at Quackworks to cover Gosselin's tuition bills. Gosselin takes this well. I'm sorry, Dad, but I've been waiting a year and a half to say this. Are you crazy? He's gotta be, Gosselin. After all, he's paying to send you to a school with supervillains in it. You're always saying, let's get dangerous. You don't say, let's get dangerous unless they find out where we live, and you certainly don't say, let's get dangerous unless we can't afford it. Fair enough, especially since having your secret identity known to your greatest villain or not having the money to pay for proper equipment does, in fact, make it more dangerous. Her and Launchpad's words of encouragement inspire him to get back to work, even fixing the holes in his outfit, much to Launchpad's relief. I'm glad you think so. There aren't really a lot of positions open for sidekicks/pilots. And we see that he had attempted to join the Rescue Rangers. I can pilot this. No, you cannot. Damn it, Gadget! He can fly larger planes and has one of his own! You could have had a flying battle cruiser in comparison to the Ranger plane! The villains, having dispatched the crime bots, spot the thunderquack in the sky and decide to chase after Darkwing, using Megavolt as a conduit for increased power to their own ship. As the chase begins, we see a billboard for Quackworks. We're your friends that are always right. Still better than their old slogan, we own your ass, deal with it. Crime bots soon fly after the two jets. Stop! This is an illegal use of the air, which is the intellectual property of Quackworks. You know, it would not surprise me if at some point a corporation has tried to claim that they own the air. Honker has been brought to another room full of both mechanical instruments as well as health packs, but most importantly is a top-secret box with a padlock on it. His unseen interrogator starts having him read off every word in the dictionary, but the box has no reaction to anything he says. However, the interrogator spots footage of the Thunderquack's flight, much to his shock. He commutes Honker's sentence and decides to take Darkwing in instead. The villains and heroes are soon captured by the crime bots, and we get a flashback where we learn why Quackerjack is so pissed at Negaduck. Negaduck had told him how he had discovered Darkwing's secret identity, and Quackerjack begged him to let him in on the secret. However, Negaduck instead just ripped up the original Mr. Banana Brain and proclaimed that he wasn't worthy of being involved, saying that he just wasn't mean enough for the job, which is why he's been so much more aggressive and, well, explosive happy.
Yeah, he basically just called him a bitch. Basically, he just called him a bitch. Like, you a wuss. I can't have, no, you're not worth this shit. You're not even like a mean villain. You just crazy.
However, with everyone captured, we end issue 3 with the identity of the one behind Quackworks. The one who has taken over St. Canard and has orchestrated events to try to break Darkwing Duck of his spirit through the crime bots. Taurus Bulba.
And that was crazy when I found this out in the first video that I made of this, like, because how the hell did you lose your body, Torrance? How the hell did you lose your body, Taurus Bulba? How the hell did you lose your body? What happened, bro? What exactly happened?
Taurus Bulba, or as he was known when he was converted into a cyborg, the Steerminator. That's not even a joke, look it up. We begin issue 4 with the revelation that they're on a satellite above the Earth, but Taurus Bulba's exposition is interrupted by Megavolt, who's pissed at him for stopping his supervillain career a year before. He uses his electric powers to shock both Bulba and the restraint chairs, allowing both the heroes and villains to break out and attack. They're all pissed at him for the last year and make their feelings known. However, he repels them and even sends the villains down for the worst punishment possible. I am the HR bot. Get ready for the employee evaluation of doom! Bulba, you monster! How will they get their 35-cent raise now? Bulba is also confused why Darkwing Duck would return after his crime bots have, well, eliminated all crime. Darkwing explains that the whole thing is basically a dictatorship with Bulba in charge and the crime bots as his own foot soldiers, so he wants to let people be free to lead their own lives again. After being knocked into some equipment, Gosselin proclaims that Keen Gear, which seems to finally get a reaction out of the top-secret box. However, what it also does is activate an exposition tape, where Bulba explains that his original body had been destroyed and was converted into a blender that was bought by inventor Gyro Gearloose from DuckTales. He discovered he had the ability to transfer his consciousness through electronics and possess them, allowing him to form a new body. However, he wasn't able to take possession of the Gizmo Duck armor even with the password. Gyro thinks the suit doesn't register him as a person anymore, and thus won't respond to his commands. As such, Bulba swears to find a lackey who can use the suit, though Gyro promises to alter the password phrase by remote. Bulba, in turn, swears to take over St. Canard and force everyone to say every word possible until he finds the correct code phrase, then flies off. Hence why Honker was being forced to read the dictionary earlier. How exactly was Bulba a criminal mastermind when it turns out the only reason he took over an entire city was to get access to a piece of equipment that he could have just destroyed and isn't really that much better than his current electronics possessing form? However, the armor soon arrives on its own power, revealing that the code phrase was Keen Gear, as Gosselin had proclaimed before, allowing the armor to equip itself to her and allow her to become Gosmoduck. While Gosmoduck distracts Bulba, Darkwing sends Launchpad out to try to find the Thunderquack, while being pursued by guard dogs riding on guard flamingos. The natural enemy of ducks, of course. As Gosmoduck is unsuccessful in fighting off Bulba's latest robot body, Darkwing makes himself known. I am the terror that flaps in the night! I am the monkey wrench in Quackworks! Do you think he has, like, a book full of these phrases that
He
he
has
writes
to.
down and then has
He
to
has to.
cross them off whenever he uses them? Bulba
Yeah.
shoots an energy
I
blast that
believe
puts
it.
a hole in the satellite,
I can
forcing
believe it.
Darkwing to hold on for dear life. However, being a hero, he's ready to stop Bulba however he can, shooting a gas grenade that knocks both him and Bulba out and falling towards the Earth. Fortunately, Launchpad arrives to catch Darkwing with the Thunderquack, while Bulba falls directly in front of the Quackworks building. They think he's out, but he's able to remotely access technology within Quackworks itself, shooting laser cannons out of it at our heroes. Gosmoduck,
That's
though,
crazy
is
that he
able
can
to
do
hack
that.
into Bulba's systems and turn him off, though it nearly fries her. Thinking she might be dead, Darkwing admits that Gosselin was always his superhero. It's sweet and tender and great, and of course, she's still alive. Soon, Darkwing, Gosselin, and Launchpad are brought in to see someone. Since the government has decided that Quackworks was too big to fail, they, in their infinite wisdom, have chosen me to oversee its restructuring. Scrooge McDuck! First order of business, putting a giant money pit in the break room for everyone to swim in. And bless me.
The crazy thing, I'm still freaking out about this. The fact that they just included Scrooge McDuck in the Darkwing Duck world. That just, like, what? Like, what? When I say I seriously want a season 3, I want a season 3 where you include both of them. Put both of them in here. Put Darkwing Duck and DuckTales, and just make Darkwing Duck the best it could possibly be, bro. Like, come on.
Me bagpipes, there are gonna be some big changes around here. The next Pokemon protagonist is gonna be Scottish. Law enforcement is put back in the hands of regular people, as well as offering incentives to create competing businesses so not everyone relies on Quackworks so much. The villains are put back behind bars. They won't find themselves sharing cubicles with the law-abiding citizens they take advantage of. Screw you, rehabilitation! Just shove them in cells! Scrooge elects a new CEO for Quackworks, someone he can trust and has already shown his bravery to the people of St. Canard. Namely, of course, Launchpad, much to the confusion and irritation.
Actually, it makes sense because Launchpad was on DuckTales and he was a part of his team at one point in his series. So, given the fact that he knows Launchpad, that would make sense. Yeah.
Of Darkwing. Still, it seems like a happy ending all around, but our comic ends with two people who hate happy endings watching the group. Negaduck and Magica Dispel. This storyline is great, and so were the Boom Studios books.
I love it.
I have no major complaints.
I have
if
to
I
get the
had
comic.
to
I have to
critique
get it.
anything about this storyline, it feels like the last issue rushes things a bit with its exposition, leaving a few head scratchers
I mean,
and
just a
questions
bit,
that I needed to
just
consult
a
a
bit,
wiki
but
over
like,
that I think were
I
supposed to
love
be in
it.
the book, or
I
maybe
love
it was
it.
explained in a later issue that I don't recall. But still, there's a lot that's dumped on the readers. It's not helped that Bulba's plan is ultimately just, I want the Gizmo Duck suit, and not that it was a side thing that he wanted, since it seems like taking over an entire city should be a goal in itself. In addition, it feels like we're missing exposition about Bulba hypnotizing people to work for Quackworks, as implied by what the security guard said, or any explanation for the crime bots being outfitted with chains and cowboy hats. Still, the book is funny, heartwarming, and to me is just a well-crafted story that deserved the praise that it got when it came out. I'm especially fond of Gosselin snapping some sense into Darkwing about their mission statement and what it means to be a hero despite the risk. If you can track down the issues, I do recommend them. Next time, we take a trip back to a book I had plans to cover as part of the 10th anniversary celebrations, but had to be postponed due to Patreon-sponsored episodes, with a revisit to the California Raisins in 3D.
song stays in my head, bro. I'm sitting on the couch reviewing comics. The worst parts that you will ever see. It says that comic books are for geeks, but they're not. They're for everybody. If you doubt that I am a man, I am a man.
Oh, hey, so Power Rangers Samurai was right. There are just a bunch of interdimensional subway trains.
And that's the crazy. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing. Well, that's gonna be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This probably possibly gonna be up after I get home from work. Um, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you did, please, like I said, show your support down below. Like, comment, subscribe. To show your support to Linkara. He doesn't have to do this, but I thank him nonetheless. I should have just went to him. I should just reacted to his video because but I didn't even know he did a reaction to the comics itself. That honestly is more interesting than some schmuck doing a review of the series, which wasn't even so far a review in the beginning. It was just a review about Disney. Ugh. But that's here or there. This has been Master of Sakurai. I'll see you again next time. I'm out. Peace.